in each half, in the midway point of each half. Jordan Pickford there in behind Mark Gay, back in goal for England this evening, and just behind him Ben White, who starts for England for the first time for almost 4 years to the day, since a match against a friendly game against Ivory Coast in March of 2022. Of course, came off the bench the other night, scored his first England goal, then conceded the penalty for Fede Valverde's last gasp equaliser for Uruguay. White having previously, until now, since the World Cup in Qatar, declared himself unavailable for selection. Things have changed a lot for him. Memories to last a lifetime for that young man there, chatting with Anthony Gordon. Wembley welcomes England for the final time before this summer's World Cup, hoping for a suitable send-off as they take on fellow finalists Japan, with the stateside kick-off just 2.5 months away. Friday's draw with Uruguay felt flat and experimental. Tonight's team rather more recognisable. Japan arrive in London after a weekend win over Scotland in Glasgow, and with a fine record against European opposition in recent years that includes wins over both Spain and Germany at the last World Cup in Qatar in 22. And as the players line up, the anthems will be next. Proud moment for Mark Gay, captaining his country. This is the 4th time the two nations have met. England are unbeaten in the previous 3 games with 2 wins and a draw, the most recent of which was a 2-1 victory in a friendly in May 2010. England captain Harry Kane misses the match after picking up what's described as a minor issue in training. In all, there are 10 changes from Friday's draw with Uruguay. Phil Foden, the only one starting both. He plays as a false 9 this evening. Ben White starts for England for the first time in almost exactly 4 years. Another one in from the cold, Kobbie Mainoo, plays alongside Elliot Anderson in midfield in place of the absent Declan Rice, and Mark Gay is the captain. Well, this evening's match officials are from Scotland. Our referee, Nicholas Walsh, there in the middle. He's been a regular in this season's UEFA Europa League. Ritsu Doan there, the captain of Japan. Plays in the Bundesliga with Eintracht Frankfurt. This spring, Japan are missing two of their key players through long-term injury, namely captain Wataru Endo of Liverpool and Takumi Minamino, who used to play on Merseyside as well. They also make a host of changes from the win over Scotland for tonight's encounter. Kaoru Mitoma, who plays in the Premier League with Brighton, is among those coming in, along with Ritsu Doan of Eintracht Frankfurt. Keito Nakamura has scored in 2 of the last 4 games. Junya Ito was the match winner against Scotland on Saturday. Attacking threat tonight for Japan, also provided by Ayase Ueda, who's been in excellent form in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands with 22 goals in 26 matches. It's been an injury-affected season for that man there, Kaoru Mitoma of Brighton Hove Albion. He's started roughly half of their fixtures in the Premier League so far, a foot injury affecting him earlier in the campaign. England playing in their new home strip this evening, which will be warm-up games ahead of the kick-off in the World Cup. Both of those will be in the United States early in June. On the 6th and the 10th, England playing New Zealand and Costa Rica. England unbeaten so far at Wembley Stadium in the reign of Thomas Tuchel. Unbeaten since that friendly match against Senegal last June. Early touch there for Jordan Pickford, straight out of play. Pickford winning his 82nd cap. Thomas Tuchel unexpectedly without his captain for the match this evening. Kane was expected to play, but it's described as a precautionary issue and a minor issue picked up in training. Here's Mainu, who's gone from not really getting a game for Manchester United earlier in the season to being back in their team following the arrival of Michael Carrick, and now here he is back in the starting lineup for England as well. It's been quite a turnaround for the 20-year-old midfielder. 2 years on from his England debut. Forget he played 70 minutes of the Euro final in 24 against Spain. Tidied up at the back, and Suzuki gets more height than distance on that one. Here's Mainu. Now Cole Palmer. Anderson back in the heart of the midfield, one of those who was rested last week, as was Nico O'Reilly and Gay and Ezri Konsa as well, who has the ball now. Mainu dropping into a little space. He's got O'Reilly alongside him. Happy recent memories of Wembley Stadium for Manchester City's Nico O'Reilly, having scored both of the goals in the EFL Cup final here against Arsenal recently. Collected by Sano for Japan. Opportunity for them to venture forward for the first time. A little breakaway, and Nakamura sends it into the penalty area, trying to find Ueda. Now Japan, a very well-organised side. We've had some excellent results against major footballing nations over the past few years. And there's their head coach, Hajime Moriyasu, won 35 caps for Japan as a player. He's been their head coach for quite a while now, since 2018. All given away by Ezri Konsa, who steps in to make up for the minor mistake. Little pass there into Foden from Rodgers. Here's O'Reilly. First time we've seen Mark Gay in an England shirt since last October. He missed the November matches with an injury. Anderson. O'Reilly there to try to retrieve the ball, but he lost out there to Watanabe, and it's collected and sent forward by Junya Ito into the penalty area with Mitoma, and Gay's pass back barely had enough on it to find Jordan Pickford, and Mark Gay heads the ball out. Little acknowledgement there from England's captain for the night. Ritsu Doan will take the throw. 64th cap for him this evening. The touch from Foden is delicate and nuanced. Falls kindly for Cole Palmer. To Mainu and O'Reilly. Foul there by Tsuyoshi Watanabe, the Feyenoord defender. Anthony Gordon, a searing burst of pace, trying to get the ball in past Watanabe. First corner of the match for the home side. Goal kick for Japan when Suzuki finally receives a ball. I wonder how many, if any, decisions he needs to make on the 26th for the summer. Can't be many decisions. Elliot Anderson conceding the free kick on Ayase Ueda. Collected by Junya Ito. Here he is trying to combine with Keito Nakamura. Konsa's short pass collected by Mainu, and Gay scampering forward into O'Reilly. Mainu seeing a lot of the ball here in the early stages of this. Width provided by Ben White there. Mixed reception from the home crowd for Ben White in response to his previous desire to not be included in squads over the past 3 years plus, since the last World Cup finals until now. Jordan Pickford, by the way, hasn't conceded a goal in his last 10 appearances for England. 82nd cap tonight for him. A challenge in midfield by Daichi Kamada, the Crystal Palace player. And timely slip by Mitoma. Bit of space here for Anderson. White well forward on the far side. Here he is. Rodgers nearby. Good flick there by Palmer, not quite coming off. Ito made sure of that. Mainu into Foden. This is Rogers. Into Mainu and Palmer in space. Support both left and right. Looks for Rogers. Ball just gone out of play. Watanabe. That's Keishu Sano sending it back. Watanabe once more, sent on its way by Doan. In towards Junya Ito. Four wins in a row for Japan ahead of this match. 3-2 against Brazil, 2-0 Ghana, 3-0 Bolivia and 1-0 Scotland. They had a good record against European nations as well. Of course, they don't play them particularly often, but Japan unbeaten in their last 7 against European sides in regulation time. That most recent defeat on penalties at the last World Cup to Croatia, but they beat Spain and Germany in the World Cup finals in Qatar. Took a couple of whacks on Friday as well, didn't he, Phil Foden? Notably a midfield cruncher from Araujo on Friday night. Cole Palmer to take. Dangerously floated in. Rogers challenging for it. Tries to get the shot away. It strikes O'Reilly. Challenge on Doan by Konsa. Referee well positioned to see the challenge. No foul. Here's Rogers. Ben White on the outside, good running, excellent play. What's the delivery like? Well, not good enough to find Phil Foden in the middle, but promising approach there from England. And Japan's defence put under real pressure there. Sixth cap tonight for Ben White. Who tapped in England's goal against Uruguay on Friday. Palmer's delivery, the header from Mark Gay, blasted in as well. Not once, but twice, 3 times. 2 of those shots from Mark Gay. Kobe Mainu now. Not enough height on that one. Comfortably headed away initially by Keito Nakamura, chased by Kaoru Mitoma. And tidied up by White. Who's been struggling for too many starts for Arsenal this season, Ben White. Anderson into Rogers. Bit too quick with the free kick there for the referee's liking. Ball still rolling. Challenged by Hiroki Ito. Nothing on target from either side so far. Anthony Gordon's going to have a little run here. Decent ball in, met by Tsuyoshi Watanabe. Esri Konsa. Here's O'Reilly. Rogers making tracks. And not quite able to get there. It was a big chase to get to the ball for the Aston Villa player. It'll be interesting to see how those that front four really blend together and how much they end up treading on each other's toes tonight. There's Gordon and Foden. Of course, you've got Palmer and Rogers in there as well. Here's Anderson holding off Doan. Konsa. Anderson sends it in. The layoff from Rogers picks out Palmer, and the pass just gets away from Gordon. Phil Foden waiting to pounce as well. Palmer's pass almost opened the door. Konsa under pressure. Tidied that one up nicely against Ayase Ueda. So Anderson, who's really established himself as a starting player for England this season. Little flick forward by Palmer. Suzuki was into Sano, now back out with Watanabe. Free kick conceded by O'Reilly. So his challenge on Kaishu Sano. Another one of the Japanese players based in Germany. He's with Mainz. A little bit of pressure there being applied to Daichi Kamada. England with the vast majority of the play so far, as one might expect, roughly 70% of the play. Nothing of any major note created at either end up to this point. This is Anderson. Trying to find Anthony Gordon there, the pass from Cole Palmer. Gordon's been in really good form lately, scoring in each of the last 3 matches in the Premier League for Newcastle. Among his total, his impressive total actually, of 17 this season, including 10 in the Champions League. Free kick conceded by Elliot Anderson. Decision time looming before too long for Thomas Tuchel, the players he's going to take to the World Cup. This is the last chance for them to play before the squad is announced in the weeks ahead. This is Sano. It was Sano. It's with Anderson now into Gordon. Mainu into Anderson, tries to get away from Kamada. Watanabe going a little bit longer this time, but too long for Ritsudoan. Straightforward there for Pickford. Here's Gay. 27th cap for him tonight. O'Reilly. Just the third England cap for the Manchester City player. Nice touch from Foden. O'Reilly. Plenty of time here for Ezri Konsa. Pickford into Mainu. Here's Mark Gay. Game's really slowed down a little bit after the bright and pacey start that we saw, end to end in the opening minutes, but a bit more of a predictable pattern in the last few minutes as we head towards the midway point of the first half. Anthony Gordon into Elliot Anderson and sent forward, but it was a little bit hurried in the end. An opportunity for Japan to tidy up. England looking to press a bit more. Tsuyoshi Watanabe back into Suzuki. Sent forward off the boot of Hiroki Ito. And England have it once more with Elliot Anderson. Palmer loses possession. Kaoru Mitoma has it. He's away from Kobe Mainu. The pass is a good one too. This is Keito Nakamura. Nakamura across! And Kaoru Mitoma scores for Japan. A superb breakaway goal. The passing was precise. A move of pace and precision, and a very fine finish from Mitoma. Cole Palmer losing possession. Midway inside Japan's half. Here's Mitoma involved in the early build-up. Excellent ball away to Nakamura, and look at him just holding back. Right position, well-placed pass, and beyond the despairing dive of Jordan Pickford. A minor deflection on its way towards the goal, but that's Mitoma's goal. And it all came from the loss of possession in the other half of the field as the players head for a cooling break, part of the procedure we will get used to seeing during the World Cup finals in the summer. And suddenly much to discuss there for England's head coach Thomas Tuchel. Well, Japan started very positively in the opening minutes of the game. Hints of danger, attack-wise. And then there, Mitoma it was, who initially won the ball back, was heavily involved in the build-up, great awareness, beautifully weighted pass into Keita Nakamura, and then just almost took it in his stride to guide it home. And England find themselves behind midway through the first half. Well, Mitoma he played for a half against Scotland at the weekend. That was his first appearance in September, as he'd been out injured in the subsequent squads before this one. Scoring his 9th international goal there. So away we go once more. And by the way, that's the first time Jordan Pickford has conceded a goal in an England shirt since October of 2024, the 2-1 home defeat to Greece. O'Reilly, will England be stung into life? Well, the hope for the home side was of a quick response there. Great goal for Japan, though, and an excellent contribution to it by Mitoma, both in winning the ball, carrying it up the field, sending it wide, and then getting on the end of the return pass to send the ball into the bottom corner. Rogers goes down. Lovely bit of skill there from Mainu. Gordon up against Doan. Here's O'Reilly trying to lay it off to Anderson. Ritsu Doan. Ball just getting away from Mitoma. O'Reilly, Foden. Here's Gordon. Packed samurai blue defence there. O'Reilly. England's defence ruthlessly exposed by Japan for that opening goal. A lot of space over on the far side. Here's Gordon now. Losing his way against Junya Ito. Kobe Mainu working hard to win it back against Kamada. Nakamura gets in there. Here's Anderson. England finding it tough going so far, as Anderson sent it away to Morgan Rogers. Kamada's there. Ben White collects. Here's Rogers again. Setting up White. And the little flick doesn't quite find a teammate. Nothing on target so far for England as we head towards the half-hour mark. In goes Elliott to wing it back. Foden into Palmer, picking out Gordon. Plenty back here for Japan. No way through at the moment for Cole Palmer. Anthony Gordon with his free kick. And pretty straightforward for Suzuki. He's been the regular starter for Japan for over 2 years now, when fit, is Suzuki. Missed about 4 months of the season with a broken hand, not that long back from it. I forget they're missing Wataru Endo, their captain. Minamino's out as well, recovering from an ACL, so a couple of major players for Japan. Tomiyasu, remember him from Arsenal, he's had to withdraw from the squad as well, and here they come once more, and it's Mitoma. Pressure for England to deal with. Sano sending it to the far side. It's Kamada. Nakamura. Doesn't quite fall for Ueda. Switch brings Junya Ito into the game. Watanabe keeps it alive, and the shot is a little bit high and wild from Kaishu Sano. Well, he must be pretty happy with what he's seen so far. Hajime and Moriyasu took them to the round of 16 in the last World Cup, beating both Germany and Spain by the same 2-1 scoreline. And it took penalties to send them home in the match against Croatia in the round of 16. That's the barrier that they're really looking to try and get past in the USA this summer. Japan, 4 times they've been to the round of 16. First made it to the World Cup in France in '98, but made it to 7 now and reached the round of 16 4 times. Anderson with the roll forward into Rogers, who's being held up by Hiroki Ito. England struggling to get out of second gear here at this stage. Not quite the big send-off for the summer they were hoping for up to now. White, now with Esri Konsa. Here's Anthony Gordon, who takes it brilliantly here. Back out to Mainu. Gordon collects, back out with Elliot Anderson. That's the best we've seen from England by a long way in the opening half an hour or so. Lovely curling, dipping effort. Crashing off the top of Suzuki's bar. England mixing it up, but Anthony Gordon is going to have to settle for a throw. Anderson. Good ball into Ben White. Can't find a way past Ito. Gay. Passed by Anderson into Palmer. Cleared away by Nakamura. Nicely done by Mark Gay. Anderson. Now with Cole Palmer. Here's Anthony Gordon. Excellent running by Nico O'Reilly. Super play from O'Reilly, and Foden just didn't have the height there to really challenge Kamada. As Mitoma looks to break away, Anderson's in his way and breaks it up brilliantly. Yeah, and Gay rather too long, but that effort from Elliot Anderson, so close to drawing England level a couple of minutes ago. The ball in subsequently from O'Reilly. Defended by Daichi Kamada. Gay looking to get to grips with Ueda. Mainu brings it away. Here's Rodgers, now into Palmer. Burst of pace from Palmer. Ito's with him, Nakamura as well. Rodgers keeps hold of the ball. Kobbie Mainoo. Palmer picking out O'Reilly. Gay's going to leave it for Mainoo. Well, Japan superbly organised, really well coached side. Up towards Ueda, collected by Ritsu. Doan keeps it clear of O'Reilly. Watanabe away to the far side, where it's collected by Hiroki Ito. This is Keito Nakamura, who's on the left-hand touchline. Shogo Taniguchi towards the near side. Mitoma, the goal scorer. Deep to Kamada. England finding it tough without the presence of Harry Kane up front. England haven't had an effort on target in this first half so far. had 2/3 of the play, just struggled to do much with it. Here's Ben White. Rodgers into White. Tidy turn from Palmer, but nowhere to go. Massed ranks of blue-shirted Japanese defenders. Foden trying to tiptoe his way through, just catching Doan. Free kick Japan. England with just 2 wins from their last 7 friendly international matches. And behind in this one as well, Suzuki. As Mitoma trying to turn away from Anderson, collected here by Kobe Mainu. Can't get the ball in past Kaishu Sano. Frustrating first half for Thomas Tuchel. Slip there from Junya Ito. Mainu's pass, sloppy and picked up here by Sano. Sano sending it forward and it's off the bar. Shot from Ayase Ueda. Japan causing England real problems here. England were looking for offside. It was going to be a close call. Ayase Ueda, who's been in excellent form for Feyenoord this season, 22 goals in the Eredivisie. His last international goal, by the way, was the winner against Brazil in October. Ito's delivery. Header away, Doan. It didn't fall quickly enough for him. England look to break here now. Excellent defensive play by Kaishu Sano. Well, Japan at the moment playing like a side who, tactically speaking, have rather got England worked out for the most part. Anderson looking for Rodgers. Anthony Gordon. Real solid defensive structure to Japan. A couple of minutes plus additional time before the break. Remember, we had that cooling break in this opening half as well. We'll have one during the second half. Free kick. Little pull back on Cole Palmer. Hands on deck here for Japan. Whipped in by Palmer. Much to discuss at half-time in the England dressing room. It's Japan, actually, other than the goal, who've also created the main clear shooting opportunities in this opening half. At the other end, England finding it tough to break their opponents down. Just one additional minute here at the end of this opening half. Gay, Konsa. Well, this really has been an excellent first half performance from Japan on their first visit to London for many years. Glum faces on the England bench at the moment. We'll see plenty of changes during the second half. Reminder, both teams can make up to 11 substitutions in this game. It's been agreed. Excellent first half for Japan. England not so much. They've had 2/3 of the play and done very little with it. Karo Mitoma with an excellent goal. He started it by winning the ball off Cole Palmer in midfield in England's half of the field. Gained ground, sent it out to the left-hand side and was on hand to just stroke the ball home. Superb goal, excellent Japan performance so far. Half-time, England 0, Japan 1.
The first World Cup hosted by 3 countries. Ça va être magnifique. The greatest show on earth. Mayor espectáculo del planeta. You guys, but I am pumped. The sound of World Cup soccer is coming to North America. Are you in?
This is gonna be the adventure of a lifetime. We've dreamed of making this movie ever since we were kids.
We're gonna shoot it indie style.
Run and gun. Claire, you and I will star in it.
I love you, Derek.
Kenny, you shoot it.
Here we go.
Doug, you direct.
Action! This is Anaconda. And we no longer have a snake for our snake movie. We have to go out in the jungle and find another one.
Is there a problem, officer?
James Lindsay, huh?
Jim.
I'm gonna need you to step out of the vehicle, sir.
Chief Bishop! Chief Bishop! Bishop, come in.
Who's that?
Lost kid. No bodies, no pattern.
If she's right, how many other victims are there?
Dexter: New Blood. Tuesday on BN Series 2.
Hello?
What's your name? Ralph? Have you seen anything else? Houses or people, Ralph?
Where are the grown-ups?
We saw the pilot. I intend to be a good chief. If there are grown-ups coming, then they must be able to see us.
Ralph, if it pleases you, we will have charge of the signal fire.
Don't you feel it, Jack? When you're in the forest, something behind you.
Lord of the Flies. Wednesday on BN Series 2.
Three nations, 48 teams. The biggest event in sports is almost here. Be part of the journey. The FIFA World Cup 2026 exclusively on beIN Sports.
This is a memorial to the dead.
So, was this all you're doing?
It is.
Are you Old Nick?
Old Nick? You mean Satan?
Yes. Old Nick released his demons unto the world of man. And the world of man fell before the demons.
Soccer?
Yeah.
What about soccer?
Soccer? As in, like, English football?
Right.
It's very good. Gotta go.
Have you come far, Jane Andrews?
Quite far, Mum.
And why are you leaving?
I just think I'd be better suited to a palace. This is it, Mum. This is what I've been waiting for.
Find me something fabulous. You're a lot like me, Jane. You've got spirit.
I'll tell you what, from now on, Jane Andrews.
Well done. Tell me everything.
Well, I'm afraid we're going to have to let you go. What's wrong with me, Mum? Why can't I ever just be happy? Just my whole life revolves around him.
I'm sick to death of it. I would like the police to come and stop us from hurting each other.
Jane, the police need to talk to you.
The Lady. Tuesday on BN Series 1.
focus. Let's go, come on. Okay, let's go.
Please welcome back for the second half, England!
Well, a nation has never previously beaten England in 10 attempts. This is England's first game against an Asian side since their 6-2 win over Iran in November 2022 at the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Kaoru Mitoma, there he is. It's his goal that separates the two sides, and a lovely goal it was too. Initiated when he won the ball off Cole Palmer in midfield, and then took it upfield before feeding it out to the left-hand side and then getting on the end of the subsequent ball in from the wing. Lovely finish, finely worked team goal from Japan. England creating very little really in the absence of their talismanic captain and striker Harry Kane. Phil Foden as a false nine. The best effort so far in the match from England, a shot from just outside the box from Elliot Anderson, bouncing off the top of the crossbar. It's Japan who will get us underway at the start of the second half. Junya Ito. Fourth meeting between these two nations over the years. 2 wins for England and a draw in the previous 3. First match since 2010, May of 2010, which was a 2-1 friendly victory for England, swept in by Hiroki Ito. Kamada, and now back with Shogo Taniguchi. Doan, some support on the far side, with Japan looking lively in the early stages of this second half. Past just wrong-footing Sano. Anderson, who's had a decent game so far, in possession once more. We're taking a leadership role for England in this side. Expect to see him alongside Declan Rice in the summer. Here's Nico O'Reilly. Rogers making tracks into the penalty area. It's with Anthony Gordon. The block is made by Sano. Ezri Konsa. Ben White again getting well forward from right full back down the right flank for England. There's certainly a space that, as a consequence, Japan have managed to capitalise on at various points during the game. Here goes Ben White once more, linking with Rogers. Out of play on the near side off the boot of Taniguchi. England looking to play with a bit more pace and urgency in this second half. It's the final 45 minutes on home soil before the World Cup. Anthony Gordon. England failing to fashion much in front of goals so far. They have scored in each of the last 21 matches they've played in, since they drew 0-0 with Slovenia in the European Championship in Germany a couple of years ago. Back with Gordon once more, trying to get something going with O'Reilly. And England will settle for the corner, headed behind by Nakamura. Harry Kane missing the match this evening. Precautionary measure, we're told, having picked up a minor issue in training. Farmer's delivery just hangs in the air before being plucked from it by Zion Suzuki. Clean sheet in Glasgow at the weekend. Not too much to trouble him in this first half. Just that shot from Anderson fizzing past his gloves off the bar. Kamada. Ball bouncing off Mitoma. Here's Rogers. And now Mainu. And Anthony Gordon. Well won back by Keishu Sano. Forward by Hiroki Ito. Falls kindly for Anthony Gordon. Palmer tries to pick up the loose pieces. It's scooped away by Ito once more, collected by Ueda. Waits for support to arrive on the near flank, and it does with Nakamura. Mitoma happy to leave it. Daichi Kamada. He's sweeping past to Ritsu Doan, who tries to whip it in at the near post. And Ayase Ueda says, well, why didn't you play it to me in the middle? Impressive attacking play from Japan once more. And the pass not quite finding Doan. Mainu being put under pressure there by Sano. There's Foden. Collecting the ball quite deep. Anthony Gordon, nicely done, away from Kamada. Chase here for White. Good defending Nakamura. Match just opening up a little bit here early in the second half. Ueda not fouled, says the referee. Nicholas Walsh really well placed to see that, referee from Scotland. Here's Foden. Save at that near post there by Jordan Pickford, keeping it at 1-0 to keep the effort from Ritsu Doan out. Rogers loses his way. Kaoru Mitoma has it. Excellent pass. Doan's there on the overlap to collect the ball from Ito, but it's easy for Pickford. Quite a rarity these days, England conceding a goal. That one scored by Kaoru Mitoma in the 23rd minute. England having kept a clean sheet in 11 of the previous 13 matches they've played before tonight. Mark Gay into Anderson, challenged by Sano, did really well to get it off him. This is Kamada. Watanabe away to the far side. Taniguchi. very composed with the ball at their feet, Japan's players. Konsa initially getting the better of Ueda. This is Nakamura. Ball played forward off the boot of Sano. Ito. Doan. Lovely play. Mainu beaten to it. England a little bit stretched here. And it was slightly too high for Ayase Ueda. Excellent play from Japan once more, this time down the far side, causing major problems for England's defence. Ball sent forward off the boot of Hiroki Ito. Nakamura, he's in behind Ben White here. And a big block there made by England's captain for the night, Mark Gay, with the shot from Junya Ito. O'Reilly into Foden. Remaining 1-0 to Japan. Could easily be 2 though. Saved by Pickford. O'Reilly forward into the path of Foden. Tidied up at the back by Shogo Taniguchi. Kobe Mainu. Gordon up against Ritsudoa. And behind for an England corner. Super play by Doan. Pickford there at the near post though, to deny Japan a 2-goal lead. And here just a fraction too high for Ueda. 10 minutes into the second half. Ten of England's last 18 goals have come from set plays. Really close to adding to that tally there. Just 2 defeats from 15 matches for England since they were beaten in the Euro final by Spain in 2024, before tonight. Palmer's delivery and the header wide from Ezri Konsa. Looking to add to the one international goal that he's got so far, Ezri Konsa. Plenty of changes afoot here. Bowen, Livramento, Lewis Hall, Dominic Solanke. I haven't had any substitutions made by either side up to this point. Here's Nakamura. What a lovely ball that is. Away to Ritsu Doan. Kamada. Forward off the boot of Hiroki Ito. And Ueda can't get the better of Mark Gay. Too long there from Kobe Mainu. Those first set of changes are going to come now.
Substitutions for England, leaving the field, number 7, Cole Palmer.
So Cole Palmer, one of those making way. Lewis Hall is going to come on. Jared Bowen will be on for Palmer. Phil Foden replaced.
He'll be replaced by number 18, Dominic Solanke.
Another opportunity for Dominic Solanke, who started for England for the first time the other day. And Ben White makes way for Tino Livramento. So both full-backs have gone off, as well as Foden and Palmer. The play by Anderson. Menu finding Rodgers, and tracked by Kamada. Pass picks out Anthony Gordon, who's got his club teammate Lewis Hall with him over on the far side, cleared by Tsuyoshi Watanabe. Gay getting into a tussle there with Kaoru Mitoma. Menu. Here's Rodgers, who dropped a little bit deeper to get more involved with the play. First touch for Tino Livramento. Anderson to drive things from midfield. Rodgers moving it on, trying to find Bowen. It's Kamada, lovely ball. Nakamura. Half an hour to go. Challenged by Gay to try and break it up. England looking for a little bit of inspiration here. Anderson tries to provide it to Anthony Gordon. 3 inside the box to aim at. Livramento just outside it. Plenty forward here in white. Rodgers collecting and surging. And it's comfortable for Suzuki. Forward by Anderson, good ball, and Rodgers relieved of it rapidly by the challenge on him from Kaisho Sano. Steady from Mark Gay. Jared Bowen. Anderson. Looking for Bowen and finding him. Opened up a little bit here for England, perhaps. And Bowen just turned into trouble and was easily dispossessed. The clearance from Nakamura, not great. Anderson, and down goes Rodgers. England free kick. Taniguchi holds his arms out And looks in vain at the assistant on the near side. And the challenge made by Daichi Kamada. And a chance for England perhaps to level things up. Seen him score from a very similar position to this for Aston Villa in the Premier League this season against Leeds United at Elland Road. It was a gloriously flighted free kick over the top of the defensive wall. Is he going for a similar thing here? Bowen, the other player in the vicinity. Morgan Rogers for England. He did try the same thing and it didn't quite come off. You could see what was in his mind there.
Substitutions for Japan. Leading the field, number 21, to be replaced by number 4, Yogo Seko. Also leading the field, number 18, Ayase Ueda.
Ayumu Seko, Ayase Ueda, by the way, one of the players going off here, the striker. First changes for Japan. We're seeing Seko there, number 4, and 19, that's Koki Ogawa. Ogawa's the centre forward who scored in October's 2-2 draw with Paraguay. And number 4 they're coming on, Ayumu Seko, who plays for Le Havre in the French league, has appeared now in 6 of the 8 internationals this season. Defensive midfield player. Jared Bowen. Hiroki Ito, the other player going off. Pass from Kobe Mainu, not quite coming off. Nakamura losing the ball. Heading to the midway point of the second half. It's with Lewis Hall. Still a 1-goal game. Mainu now. Into Anderson. And Bowen just carries it too far. And still Jude Bellingham, who's not long recovered from a hamstring injury, sits on the bench, and Harry Kane left out today as a precautionary measure. 2 big names on the England bench. Suzuki almost got himself in a spot of unnecessary bother. Here's the substitute, Seko. England with that World Cup opener against Croatia in Dallas on June the 17th, which comes 3 days after Japan's World Cup opener in the same stadium. They're playing the Netherlands. England on the attack here now with Morgan Rogers. In from Lewis Hall, into the near post, and Suzuki gets his mitts on it. Japan looking to make it 5 wins in a row tonight. Try to craft that pass up to Jared Bowen, and Seko was quite literally all over him there. Ayumu Seko. He was one of the starters against Scotland on Saturday. midway through this second half. England actually, despite 11 attempts on goal, haven't actually got one on target in the game up to now, and that's from almost 2/3 of the play. There's a greater directness and sharpness and variety of attacking options from Japan, and Nakamura tries to tee it up, and he isn't far wide. More encouraging play for coach Moriyasu to enjoy. And this time it was Keito Nakamura of Stade de Reims, who backed himself here, having turned away from Livramento. Couldn't quite wrap his foot round it enough to curl it inside that far post. 2 goals in the previous 4 matches before today for Nakamura, looking to add to his total. And we're having a cooling break here. Not because we need one in a rather cool spring evening in London, but as part of the procedure that we'll have at the World Cup finals during the summer, when we really will need it in many of the stadiums. Certainly affording both coaches the opportunity to make a point or two. Still a slender advantage for Japan as they look for a first victory against England. Thomas Tuchel knows exactly what he wants. There's the key moment of the game. Cole Palmer dispossessed in midfield. Kaoru Mitoma was the player who won the ball back initially, then sent it out wide. Nakamura picking the pass and then just guiding it home, Mitoma. It really was a lovely goal for Japan. And it's the Brighton and Hove Albion player, Kaoru Mitoma, who scored the goal that still separates the two sides. That sums up the night so far for England's head coach. Marcus Rashford coming on for England to replace Anthony Gordon, and James Garner on for Kobbie Mainoo as well. There he is, James Garner, who made his debut against Uruguay the other night. Second cap for him. So Kaoru Mitoma's night is over. Mitoma being replaced by Suzuki. Junsuke Suzuki. And Ao Tanaka on for Ritsudoran. That's the other change made by Japan. Junsuke Suzuki, one of those just starting to make a name for himself with the Japanese national team. The sub who's just come on, a defender who plays for Copenhagen and made his debut in the middle of last year, and he's played in most of the recent games actually, winning a 6th cap this evening. Confirmation of those changes there for Japan. Here's Livramento. Here's Livramento now for England once again. Solanke in the middle. Very different look about the the England side at this stage of proceedings. England having made 6 changes so far in the second half. 4 changes made by Japan. In it goes, and Solanke was trying to get on the end of that. Rashford rolling it forward, collected by Lewis Hall, trying to get away from Watanabe. It's just a little too high for Morgan Rogers, scooped away by Kamada. Bit better from England. Ezra Konsa. Lewis Hall's got Rashford available over on the far side. And it goes to Solanke. England have got a bit more of a target, something to aim at a little bit more up top, more of a spearhead figure perhaps, but possession conceded. And that was by Garner. Here's Mark Gay. And now with James Garner. Rashford is turning into Junya Ito. Kara Mitoma scored the goal that still separates the two teams. Just under 80,000 inside Wembley tonight. Rashford looking for Hall, stretching to try and get there. Up against Kaishu Sano. 15 minutes to go. And would be a significant scalp for Japan if they could win this friendly international. It would be their first win over England, and it would be the first time England had been beaten by an Asian team in an international match. Big 15 minutes coming up. Lewis Hall into Garner. Livramento looking for Jared Bowen. Decent ball in. Again tidied up by Japan's defence and given away as Anderson surges into the box. Here's Solanke. Livramento. And England will have to settle for a corner. That deflection coming off Suzuki. Anderson into the penalty area, going over the challenge which came in from Shogo Taniguchi. And it comes from Jared Bowen. Suzuki under real pressure there in the 6-yard box. Bowen trying to tee it up. Anderson's delivery to the far post. Solanke back down. Rashford with the shot. Bowen on the turn. Stays at 1-0. Little burst of goalmouth excitement there from England, and Solanke's little knockdown. Rashford's shot flipped back up off the goalkeeper, who didn't get hold of it at all. Bowen did what he could, but behind for a goal kick. It really hasn't been a great March international break from England's point of view. The disappointments of Friday night, the draw with Uruguay, with the most experimental team we've seen for many a long day, and now this one here where England have found it really hard going against Japan. Rashford into Hall. Garner. Oh, brilliantly done by Morgan Rogers there. He'll take the return as well from Livramento and then send it beyond the far post. Hooked away by Ito. Hall. Rashford. Good running again. Ito with a fine interception. Cleared away by Watanabe. Chased by Solanke once more. Is he going to grab that backup role to Harry Kane for the World Cup? And Hajime Moriyasu's team inching towards a victory here as part of their World Cup preparation. It's his 103rd international match in charge tonight. He's previously won 71 and lost only 17. 14 matches drawn. More changes now coming for Japan. We're going to see Yuito Suzuki. We're going to see Yukinari Sugawara there, who was with Southampton in the Premier League last season before they went down to the Championship. He's been sent out on loan this season. Yuito Suzuki coming on. Daichi Kamada going off. Nakamura off and Machino on. Shuto Machino. Pickford under a bit of pressure there, away to Ezri Konsa. Anderson's pass away is not a good one. Japan look to profit. And England survived that little scare, and Lewis Hall battling away, surging forward up against Watanabe. Tenacious play from Hall. Seven changes now made by Japan during the second half. Six by England. We're getting a little bit messy there. What can England do here? So Mark Gay, who captained England today, makes way. Dan Burn coming on. Harry Maguire on as well. Maguire, who started the other day. Dan Burn was one of those who was resting up. Ezri Konsa makes way as well. Make that 8 England changes in the second half. Burn trying to get involved from the set play straight away. Plenty for the Scottish officials to, Scottish referee to keep his eye on there. Not least Machino and Rogers. A lot of huffing and puffing from England in this match, a lot of wrestling at the moment as well, and Maguire tries to get on the end of it, and he has, and it's headed away off the line by Sugawara. Sent back in by Anderson. Bowen trying to get up beyond the far post, behind for a corner. Maguire making his presence felt. Quite the tussle to try and get to the ball, but get to it he did, and Sugawara with the header away. Sugawara, who's currently on loan at Werder Bremen from Southampton. England pushing for an equaliser here in the closing minutes. In towards Maguire once again, but he can't get on the end of it. The header away, made by Yuito Suzuki. Everyone back defending here, digging in for Japan. More disciplined defending required here from those in blue as Rashford tries to burst through. Watanabe's there and Sugawara clears. There's confirmation of those latest England changes. England 1 attempt on target from 14 off target. It's Ghana back with Byrne. Elliot Anderson in for Rodgers, and now with Livramento. Bowen close at hand. Solanke waits in the middle. No way through for Rodgers at the moment. Here's Maguire. Morgan Rodgers gets the corner, the challenge of Junsuke Suzuki. 5 minutes plus added time. Are England going to finish their last match on home soil before the World Cup by falling to defeat here? They've certainly got a notable physical presence there inside Japan's penalty area, not least with those two. Header away and Maguire loitering. Ghana's delivery. Couldn't make a clean connection, Harry Maguire. This was his effort a couple of minutes ago, and Sugawara was in the right place to head it away for Japan. Good header, Maguire. Away to the far side off Taniguchi. Time's just starting to run a bit short for England here now. Byrne. Yet again, the illustration of how important Harry Kane is to England, as if we didn't know already. Rashford. It's Anderson. So we'll pick out Livramento, only half cleared. Maguire into Bowen. That was good work there initially by Suzuki to avoid conceding the corner. Bit of work to do for England. There's a man that they cannot afford to be without in the summer. Interesting that Maguire has posed quite an attacking threat in the short space of time he's been on the pitch. Here's Solanke trying to force the issue. Up against Ayumu Seko, who stands his ground. England need a good delivery here, and they need someone to get on the end of it. Japan inching towards a victory. 1-0 up. They were 1-0 winners in Glasgow on Saturday against Scotland. Can they make it a rare double here? And Maguire does get his head on it. Lewis Hall sends it in and brings the save from Suzuki. It was well struck. And Suzuki able to get down and turn it past the post. A good shot from Lewis Hall. Watanabe trying to get to grips with Maguire, the header just over the top of the bar from Rodgers. Very close to an equaliser, a minute from the end of the 90. Dan Burn got the header in. It ricocheted back off Rashford. And over the top off the boot of Rodgers. Wembley just starting to empty out a little bit here. Not quite the send-off series that England were hoping for this March. Draw with Uruguay on Friday, and now this. A minimum of 4 additional minutes that have just started. Burn into Livramento. England close to drawing a blank for the first time since a 0-0 draw with Slovenia in the last European Championship finals 2 years ago. Will be a first goalless game for England in 22 internationals. Free kick Japan. Japan heading for a 6th match in a row unbeaten, and currently 5th win in a row. What a great build-up to the World Cup this is proving to be for them. And on the cusp of a first ever victory over England as well. What a promising year it's looking for Japanese football. By Dan Burn. Chase for Machino. Free kick for England, with time running decidedly short. No wonder Harry Maguire's gone galloping forward here. Yellow card for Tsuyoshi Watanabe. What a great night it could be for him. Hajime Moriyasu, who's already enjoyed World Cup wins over Spain and Germany at the last finals. Is he going to get a win over England as well? Remember earlier this season in a friendly international, Japan beat Brazil 3-2. It's going to be a yellow card there for that challenge on Elliot Anderson. Yellow card for Kokiagawa. Last chance saloon really for England, and it's a wasted opportunity. You can see they were looking for Maguire, who has been quite the offensive threat in the short period of time he's been on the pitch. All they want to hear now in the stands, those Japanese fans, is the final whistle. It's been a hard-working, composed performance of quality from them, limiting England's genuine goal-scoring opportunities to few. Suzuki sends it long. And we've almost had our minimum of 4 additional minutes. And it is rather looking as though England are going to draw a blank here in their final match at home before the World Cup finals in the United States, and that is exactly the scenario. And it's a landmark day for Japanese football, for Hajime Moriyasu and his team. Kaoru Mitoma's goal is the only goal of the match, and it means that Japan, for the very first time, have beaten England. And Mitoma, who plays his football here for Brighton and Hove Albion in the Premier League, is the man who scored the goal. Japan win their 5th match in a row and add England to their list of scalps, having beaten Scotland at the weekend and beaten Brazil earlier in the season. England have lost to an Asian team for the first time in their history, and over the 2 matches in the send-off of the March international fixtures, they managed just the 1 goal against Uruguay in a 1-1 draw, but they've come up short here against a very well-organised and disciplined and skillful Japanese side. Mitoma created the goal and finished it off, winning the ball off Cole Palmer in midfield, carrying it forward and getting on the end of the subsequent cross. Japan enjoy a magnificent victory in London. It's finished. England 0, Japan 1.